Good day, East Texas. Let's do big things together. I'm big on news, sports, entertainment, lifestyle, and community. And being intentional to me is about bringing a commitment and attention to topics, people, and facts to try to reflect on what's most important. During March for Women's History Month, I'm conducting an interview series featuring remarkable women from East Texas and across the nation. And in this inaugural series, I am talking with Mechele Mills, the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of Central East Texas. Mechele, I'm so excited to have you here and to talk with you and to share some of your story. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so will you start by just telling the community a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Filipino. I was born in Manila a long time ago, and we moved to the United States during a nursing shortage in the 70s. So we moved to Chicago, and the way I got here was it was about February. So in the Philippines it was about 80-something degrees. In Chicago it was Chicago weather, and my parents didn't know what temperature it was. They didn't realize how cold it was going to be when we got here, and so we didn't have coats. And so the flight attendants wrapped me in blankets and towels from the plane, and that's how I made my entrance into the United States. And so we moved to warmer temperatures later on, and we moved to Houston. And so I'm a Texas girl. We've been here since I was 8 years old, and I'm a Texas girl. Raised in Houston, moved to Tyler about 20 years ago. I moved to Tyler to get my bachelor's degree. I was much older. So I had made a promise. I'd worked all my life and made a promise to my grandpa that I would go back to school at some point. Yeah. And so I got my bachelor's degree here at UT Tyler, and I believe I am the oldest athlete they have on record. I was taking 21 hours of classes at the time, which I had to get authorization to do, but I wanted to finish. So here's what it looked like. I was taking 21 hours of classes. I owned a donut shop.
Oh, wow.
Because I closed at 11 and I could go to school in the afternoon, and then I ran cross country and all that. I also produced the news during that time, so I'm always somebody who has a lot on my plate. So yeah. So anyway, I was running to keep myself healthy, and Bob Hepler at UT Tyler saw me running. He goes, "Hey, you want to run cross country?" And so I ran on the cross country team for that last semester of school, and I was older than some of the team members' parents, so that was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome that you did that, though.
Yeah, I mean, I had to keep my promise to my grandpa. So,
yes.
And then I got my master's degree at Baylor in 2009, and so, and that's the same year I got my job at the Better Business Bureau, and so I've been there going on 15 years now.
Wow.
And I'm married.
Yeah.
I have a husband, his name is Jeff, and we've been married for 14 years, and my best friend, and we have a fur baby named Bailey, who is 16, so we also have a teenager at home. So.
What kind of dog is Bailey?
Bailey is a terrier mix.
Oh, okay. Oh, cute fur baby. Okay, so sounds like Grandpa was very instrumental in your life. Mine was too. My late grandfather, Roy, he worked as a welder for 44 years, never took a day off, and he too said, you should get your education. You should get your education. Why do you think it was so important to your grandfather?
My parents came here for us to have a better life. What a waste if I didn't take advantage of everything that was available to us. And so education has always been very big in our family, and so the fact that I didn't have it growing up was until I was in my until I was in my mid-30s was something that bothered everybody in my family. Yeah. But I was working and making more than some of my friends in college, and so I just kind of got comfortable there. But I'm so glad that I kept that promise, because I wouldn't be where I wouldn't have the position that I have now, and I love my job. But I don't think that all that time working in those other industries was a waste, because I really feel like it prepared me for the job that I have today. So I managed advertising agencies, pharmacies, I haven't taught kids with ADD, ADHD for a little while. I've just done a lot of things. I've worked in news even, and so I've just done a lot. And so all those things helped me in my position today. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I think all of those skills that you were picking up along the way are invaluable, and you wouldn't have known them had you not gone through the experiences that you went through along the way. And was there some pivotal moment or something that happened that made you stop and say, okay, this is the time I'm going to go get my education, or I have to do it now?
Well, I moved here from Houston. In all honesty, another relationship with a guy who's no longer in the picture. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the reason I moved here, and so I had to find something else to do, and I was like, this is the perfect time for me to go back to school and keep my promise. And I couldn't just go back to school, right? I have to work, and so I owned a donut shop, and I worked till closed it at 11, woke up at 4, closed it at 11, and then went to school in the afternoons. And so for my very last semester of school, I sold the donut shop and lived on that. So
wow, yeah, that's impressive that you were working and going to school, running cross country, working 2 jobs. So that's very impressive. So now you're at the Better Business Bureau. So what is your vision for the Better Business Bureau, and how have you seen it impact East Texas?
So my vision is for BBB to be the #1 resource for people to make educated decisions about how to spend their money. You know, we are working harder and harder for the dollars that we keep nowadays, and so it's really more important than ever that we spend those dollars wisely, so that we can, use it for the majority of it for things that are important to us, and less on wasting it, on bad businesses or overspending or having to fix things that somebody didn't do correctly the first time, that type of thing. So we want people to make educated decisions before they spend their money, so that they don't have to come to us after, and report on those companies.
Right. Okay, so I saw that next week you are going to be honored, and at this event where you're going to be honored as one of the women making significant impacts in the city of Tyler or in East Texas. So first, congratulations on that recognition. And I noticed that the theme of the event is called Women Making Connections. And as I've shared with you, I believe that I am right here, right now, because of connections. I've achieved what I have achieved in my life because of people pushing me up and helping me along the way. And so how have the women connections in your life helped you get to where you are today?
I believe that they've helped me be everything that I am, from my mother on to all the connections in my friends that I have in my life now. I'm so blessed to have really strong women in my life now, and always have, frankly. And whether that's through the nonprofits that I work with, or through Bible studies, or just playing tennis, all of those things, there is value to be gained from every single individual. And there's value that it's your responsibility to give it back to others as well. And so it's helped us raise money for different organizations, for people. I mean, just it's been very instrumental. I wouldn't have the wisdom that I have today had it not been for the wise advice that I get from all of the women around me as well. So
yeah. And is there any one woman specifically that you want to highlight that has made a meaningful impact on your life?
Well, I have to say my mom. She they moved here from the Philippines to give us a better life, and she never let me settle, right? We always had to be high achievers growing up, straight A's, and when I got my master's degree, she's like, when I got my bachelor's degree, she's like, now you need to get your master's. So she just set such a good example for us as far as work ethic and excellence, and and just being strong. She would never let us. She would never let us stay down for long. Right? She would never let us make excuses. Right. And so we always achieved a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And what's your mom's name?
Merla.
Merla. All right. Well, way to go, Merla. You raised a great woman. And
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. So from the lessons that your mom taught you, how are you using those to now empower other women?
Well, I mean, she taught us how to be driven and not to give up, and she taught us our faith too, you know, and so hopefully the lesson that we learned from that, you know, one of my favorite things about the job that I have is I get to coach other people, both people that work with me, but also just, you know, other people in the community, and you know, hopefully I do that.
You were talking about making an impact, and so where is the starting point that you would give people in the community on trying to make an impact and starting initiatives in the community?
So I would say that everything starts with love, and I know that sounds very cheesy. And when I was thinking about that answer, I thought, you know, do I want to give that answer? But I do believe that's where everything starts, and I think it is that simple. And so I looked up a scripture, if you don't mind me reading.
Yeah, please do.
That let's see. Sorry, I have it up here. Right. So it's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, starting with verse 4, and it says, "Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres." And so if we started with that, we could have, you know, that peace and understanding and harmony, you know, to accomplish the things that we need to.
Right. No, I couldn't agree more. And thanks for sharing that scripture. And I just think, like, if we start with love, if we meet people exactly where they are on that day when they are standing in front of us, that we can just accomplish so much more by taking them where they are, letting them take us where we are, and lifting each other up. And like I shared with you before, just knowing that each person has their own beautiful crown, and that we just, like, if we pull each other up, everybody can shine and get so much further in life. Like you said, starting with love just helps push us forward.
We don't judge. We don't have any self-ambition in our interactions with others. If we truly love them, we can reach them. Right.
Exactly. You're exactly right. Okay, so what do you think is the importance of Women's History Month?
You know, looking at the lives of those that, you know, were before us, just gives us good examples. It gives us courage that if they could do it, we can do that too. Why can't we?
Right.
No reason. There's no excuse. Right.
Right.
There are people who've had incredible difficulties that still achieved so much.
Yes.
And so again, we have no excuse to not be able to do the same thing, and then to hold the door open for those behind us as well.
Yep. So that brings me to my next point. So you're the president and CEO of the organization that you work with. So how do we as a society move the women equality ball forward?
I think it starts with our own mindset. I was very blessed, very fortunate to come from a long line of very strong women. My grandmother owned her own business. My mom was a nurse at MD Anderson and was a head nurse over there, and so she was in a leadership role there. So very strong woman there with lots of purpose, right? And so. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot the question.
No, just how do we, if we are, how do we as a society, I'll just restate the question, how do we as a society move the equality opportunity ball forward for everybody?
So I think it starts with our mindset. You know, I was raised in a way that I never saw the discrepancies there. I always saw myself as an equal. I'm 4'11", right? I don't see myself as a 4'11" person. I always saw myself as a 6-foot person, right? Until I see myself in a picture. But my mindset is that, you know, so I go into a situation not thinking that I'm any less than anybody else, and I think we all should start there, because it also sets our expectations higher as well. So I think if we go in, you know, thinking that way, we're more likely to get to that point and or be able to push through those obstacles to get where we need to get.
Right.
Now, things coming up, there are always going to be obstacles. There are always going to be things that just seem so overwhelming. And there are also some things that we do need to do as a society to help women move forward, right? And so, I think I was looking at some other countries that have really superior, I guess, women's equality and women's. So, Denmark, Norway, they have really good education systems there. Some of the best, I think, in the world, right? They have, I think, more than 50% of the women in leadership roles in politics. More than 50% of the people in politics in leadership roles are female.
Wow.
Most of the women also work, and so I think that just creates a different mindset, I think, It just creates a better environment for people to thrive, for women to thrive as well.
Yeah.
So they have women's programs and things. They just have a lot of things that make it easier for women to thrive. We're, as women, maybe this is not, I don't know if this is the typical household or not, but we're making sure everybody gets fed. We're making sure everybody has clothes on their back, and you know what I mean. We're making sure that everybody, that if they're sick, that they get healed, and we're having to take care of so many things on our shoulders, and we're still. A lot of us are still working and making sure all of that, helping our partner, the family thrive.
Right.
We just take on more of that role at the home.
Right.
In most cases.
Right.
And so,
I think, how have you gotten to where you are, considering you are Filipino woman and you've come over here and excelled?
Man, I got to put again my mom.
Yeah,
she just really pushed me. It's a combination of things. Of course, where we came from, the mindset, that we have to succeed. To not stay down for long.
Yeah.
Good judgment, prayers, all of those things, and I do want to say that when I moved to East Texas, there's always, you're in a new environment, it's different. There's not as much diversity, or wasn't as much diversity as I was used to in Houston. Houston's a huge melting pot of everybody. I have always felt very supported and very accepted, and I never have felt like doors were, closed or walls put up to not let me through, or maybe I just didn't see them,
right?
And that could be it as well. But I do believe that this has been a great place, to grow.
Well, I think that goes to your answer earlier. You just said maybe I just didn't see the walls. But earlier you said you imagined yourself already there, and you always saw yourself as equal. So maybe you just drowned it out, and you were able to just forge forward to go after what you wanted, and here you are today, being a leader in East Texas. Okay, so what do you do for fun?
For fun, I have a couple of new-ish loves. I started playing tennis a couple of years ago. I'm not great at it, but I really do. I love it. It's social, it's active. I like doing things that are really efficient. So it's social, it's active, and I also recently started making sourdough bread.
Yum.
So I'm like making sourdough crackers and all. Anyway, I love to eat. I love to cook. I used to run a lot, but as I got older, my back is not cooperating with me as much. So so tennis, I love to work out. I love to sing, hiking, kayaking, traveling.
Is there any piece of advice that you've received or that you've given that you want to share with the women in the community?
My sister always said that when growing up, that I would always say mediocrity is not an option. It sounds so harsh, but I think that is always something that is going through my mind. You know, like I don't want to do anything that is mediocre. I want to do everything with excellence, because you're leaving that behind for other people. So, you know, I don't. You know, I want to make sure that it's good and worthy.
Right. Yeah, that's great advice. And so, East Texas, we are honored to be joined with Mechele Mills. And by the way, her maiden name means hero, which we didn't share today. So thank you so much for joining us. And just remind you that you're a wonderful woman, and we're glad to have had this time together. And East Texas, please stay tuned for more in-depth interviews. If you know of anyone that you think we should interview that's a remarkable woman around East Texas, please just shoot me a line. My email and social media handle are on the screen, or any other story that you think would be great to share with the community. Stay tuned.